Hello and welcome to another documentary from Silly Films Corp Incorporated. Today we are here to tell you about the Mercury 7, the first astronauts to be introduced to the American public. So, what was going on at the time? Sputnik, a Soviet satellite, had just been launched, and this was rather alarming as it was in regular contact with its base and orbiting the Earth. It directly conflicted the US narrative of its superiority, because this was a definitive assertion of superiority that the US could not currently match. So what did they do in response? They took their previous military agency in charge of aeronautical research, which had been heavily involved in World War II, and they turned it into a civilian operation, thereby removing the military associations. So they selected 7 astronauts, and they were introduced on April 9th, 1959. They were intentionally presented as an American everyman. Middle class, loving fathers and husbands. So, where did this come from? Project Mercury. It was managed by the Space Task Group, a subdivision of NASA in charge of space frontier exploration. They were interested in exploring what happened when you put a human in space in a clinical fashion. Because this was an entirely new area to be sending humans, or anything, they had to figure out how to do so in an effective and safe manner. This is the list that they came up with. Here is an overview of what Project Mercury did. It existed for about 5 years. How did they select astronauts? I'm here to tell you. They considered several jobs that might have suitable candidates before deciding on military test pilots, because they were used to handling classified information, and they were already comfortable with the risks involved in their job, and they had technical knowledge. So next, they had to come up with job requirements. These are the ones they came up with. The only very hard one was the height requirement, because it was just a space issue. If you were taller, you would not fit. They originally missed Marine candidates, but they were able to fix that and proceeded with testing. Eventually, NASA had 7 finalists who became the Mercury 7. This information was reported on because astronaut Gordon Cooper shared it while having lunch with a reporter. Merely one of the many ways he annoyed NASA management. So let's meet the important figures in this endeavor. President Dwight Eisenhower, Robert Gilruth, Charles Donlin, Hugh Dryden, and our astronauts, Alan Shepard, Gus Grissom, John Glenn, Scott Carpenter, Wally Schirra, Gordon Cooper, and Donald Slayton. He did not fly during the Mercury program, but continued to work as part of the program, and later was restored to flight status and flew on a later mission. So, how does this all relate to the Cold War? Well, it reestablished the US as a world leader and showed that they could quickly catch up to and later supersede Soviet achievements. It provided a useful model upon which to build later space programs. Thank you for listening to this documentary. Rights and copyrights not included.